future. So please fill out the form now to schedule your free demo. Guys, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you soon.
And we are live.
Hey, guys,
here.
It is Scott Riley, the owner and operator of a company called Forever Green. And hey, if you're in the lawn care business and you love to make sales like I do, then I have something you got to see. You know, 2020,
I've got a very special guest coming
it's
up.
It's the year we got
Mr.
introduced
Scott
to
Riley
Lawnbot.
Introduces
you know,
us.
Lawnbot was designed to work for you when you're away from work, on a date, and yes, even asleep. It's a form that's inserted into your website and walks the prospect or customer right through the entire buying process. So how does it do it? Lawnbot first allows a prospect to measure their own property without your help, unless, of course, they need it. You basically just color in what you want. Once your address is entered, Lawnbot can generate a satellite image of your property.
Ooh,
the prospect takes their finger and drags it all over the desired areas to be treated. And if you make a mistake, you can use the go back button to correct it. Then simply lock in the area and wait a few seconds and allow it to calculate your square footage. And then there you have it. A price and an option to buy now.
Shout out.
You can also add other services with pricing to go ahead and get that second sale. It's pretty cool,
you gotta
right?
Get the second sale.
But hey, you may be thinking,
it's all about the second sale.
So what if they don't buy? You know, this is where it gets even better. Once they fill out that form, you will capture their information, so you would be able to reach back out. Secondly, if they decide not to purchase and they want to think about it, there are automatic rebuttals to each objection the prospect may have. This will allow you to close that sale right then and there. So, hey, I'm sure by now you can't wait another second to get more information about this Lawnbot. So go ahead, click the link below and receive a free no-string-attached demo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to is this our 6th episode?
I think it might be.
It's 6th episode of Lawnbot Live. We have a very special episode of the co-founders. We'll call this the co-founders episode. My friend and co-founder, Erik Alburg, the man with the magic hands that basically took what we had, which was a very rudimentary version, and took it to the next level. So we just released our new Lawnbot Dashboard. It's in early access right now. So if you're a current Lawnbot customer and you don't have access to the dashboard yet, you will be getting it soon. We want to do an early access, kind of get out some of the flaws and really make it beautiful for you. Erik, welcome to the show. Welcome to the world. We're streaming out here to YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. We're everywhere right now.
What's up, everybody? You know, I constantly hear Kendall doing these podcasts in a different room. I'm like, I just want to jump in there and like jump in front of the camera and go, "Hey guys, what's up?"
Well, I'm sure most people want to know, like, you know, who is building Lawnbot, and right now it's mostly you, right?
Mostly me, yeah. Like a lot of nights, weekends, days. We are constantly looking. Actually, we're going to bring on another developer here very soon to help take on the workload and accelerate these features if they weren't already accelerated enough.
Yeah.
Like we're constantly pushing out new code. We're possibly pushing out new features, making things better. So really, bringing on another developer is going to be a huge, huge advantage for us to move quickly. Take user feedback and make it a real thing.
Yeah. So today is a very special episode because we just released our first company facing product. So we started with Lawnbot, which is homeowner facing, meaning homeowners use it to buy lawn care for their house, buy pest control for their house, maybe irrigation services, snowplow services. Got our first customer in Canada this week. That was pretty cool. I see Erik sending over like screen grabs with Alberta, Canada. He's like, "Holy shit, Kendall, what'd you go and do?" I was like, "We're going to Canada." All right. They want us in Canada. So I thought it would be a great idea today to talk about our new Lawnbot Dashboard and the journey to create the Lawnbot Dashboard, because I remember when we first met and we first got going on this, it was a super new, like it was on our roadmap. It's always been on our roadmap, but did you think we would get to it so quickly? I mean, when you initially came in and you were kind of assessing the situation of where we were at, I mean, what was your thought on how quickly did you think we would get to this dashboard?
Well, I didn't think it would actually happen this quickly. When we came together, it was a lot of off-the-shelf tools. We were using essentially like a Google Sheets, but it's called Airtable to populate that data. All of our clients kind of know that we've seen the back end where the data flows in. But really to take that and make it into a very usable feature and a dashboard where people can really understand holistically how their bot's performing is huge. It's a huge thing. It's a huge milestone for us. And it's just going to get better, obviously, but really I didn't think it would happen this quickly.
Yeah.
We were still figuring out things, how people sell. Those things came up, and then eventually we're like, you know what, we really need to push this forward in development plan. And we started working on it.
I mean, we're still learning how people sell as well, right?
Absolutely.
It's so interesting about the service industry that people sell their services so differently. And it's not like selling through Stripe, like a Stripe subscription or something like that. People in this industry sell like half off the first app, 10% off on the year, buy 6, get 1 free. So when you think about a software that can actually sell these types of services, there's not any out there besides Lawnbot that I know of that currently do it and do it beautifully and without fail. This year, I mean, we have over 2,000 sales cohort wide. So of all of our customers that have been on the product, I mean, Lawnbot is working for them 24/7, 365, doesn't show up late, doesn't get sick. Now, let's get back to the dashboard here. So how long did this take you to build from a technical perspective?
Well, like it took a while, at least 2 months to get this V1 out to the customer's hands. Again, to those points, all the very unique ways that, our clients sell their services. It's kind of a very complex equation we had to put together. And how can we display that in a way that is beautiful, informative, where it can actually take action?
Yeah.
So all that goes into it. It was just, things like the dashboard looks very simple. It's got some graphs, it got some tables, but really to understand the backend architecture, the database schemas, like all that nerdy stuff that I get really excited about, but nobody else cares about. Really took quite a long time. And working with our clients, talking to them like, how do you want to see this? Does this make sense for you? Does it work for you? Just taking all that feedback and trying to make this first version.
Yeah.
Took quite a bit of time.
So if you're on the stream right now, drop any comments or questions you have for Erik in the comments, and we'll answer them live on this stream for you. So if you have any questions, any comments, drop them live on the stream. Today, we're talking about the new Lawnbot Dashboard. It's our next step in the growth of Lawnbot. Where it came from our perspective was we were getting feedback from our customers because, as you know, Erik, the main way customers were using Lawnbot is they get emails for key events. So any leads that were generated, any sales. Now, when you're doing thousands of leads a year, that can be a lot of emails, right? And it's hard to keep it straight sometimes. So our customers said, hey, Kendall, we want somewhere we can go and log into and see all of our leads. We can see all of our sales. We can see what's still pending. We can see the service mix. So you see here, you've actually built in some graphs for companies to visualize their data. What do you think a company gets out of seeing, the percentage of each service that leads are interested in sales?
Well, it definitely helps you not understand your traffic. So obviously the leads coming into your website, who they're looking for. Looking at those graphs, you can initially say, okay, well, how is my marketing going? Like,
right.
Are we not pushing lawn seeding enough? Are we not pushing mowing enough, fertilization? So you can really take a look at that and say, okay, this is what people are interested in. So if you've ever been through the Lawnbot process, into one of our chat bots, we'll ask specifically, what services are you interested in? And that's what you're seeing out there on that graph. So you get a really high level of like, okay, what is the quality of traffic you're getting in and what are they interested in? And you can take that information and take it back to your marketing spend, your marketing strategies, and really kind of figure out, am I doing the right things? Am I pushing the right things?
Yeah, let's talk about our mapping feature. So within the new dashboard, it has the ability to plot all of your leads and sales on a map, right? So it's funny because this is our test database, right? So the points are all over the country, all over the world, actually, in this case. And you can actually visualize your data, which is very interesting to do real time, especially for folks that spend money on marketing. Typically in this industry, when we spend money on marketing, we're marketing by zip code. And to really be able to understand that, and maybe hold your marketing company accountable and say, hey, I'm up in Rockford, I'm up in the north part of town, and we're spending all of our money in the south part of town, and we're starting to get lift there. We're starting to get more leads. We should divert more marketing dollars to that part of town. Or, hey, we're getting a lot of sales close to our office. Well, I wonder why that is. Well, they're probably seeing our trucks. The brand equity in that area is probably higher because they're seeing our trucks all the time. So I think this is an excellent, cool feature. And I believe this is, a direct feature that you built. You were like, why throw a map and allow companies to be able to visualize the data?
Absolutely. And it also helps. We've had a comment come in from one of our earlier beta testers of the dashboard saying, you know what? I love the map. I can go ahead and use the map to help now schedule out routes. So it's touching everybody who's involved in that, not only taking the sales, but also
hold on. Let's pause. Did you say routes?
What did I say?
Routes.
Did I say roots?
Roots.
I don't know what roots
is. It routes or routes? Drop in comments if it's routes or routes. Eric, you went to Northern Michigan, right? University?
Oh, please, Michigan Tech. Come on.
I'm sorry.
Come on.
Sorry.
That's
hey,
never close. That's never close, my man.
I'm what they call in Michigan. They live under the bridge, right? They call everybody. If you don't know Michigan humor, if you live in the Lower Peninsula, you're considered a troll because you're below the bridge.
You live below the bridge.
Right. But apparently they say roots up there. So it's a big debate in our world because we have customers all over the world now, considering Canada, and they say roots or routes differently. So that was funny. So very, very interesting on that. So tell me more about this map. So you mentioned a customer said some of our early feedback, a large customer in Iowa had some feedback around, what was it exactly?
That not only we can tell where the sales are coming from, but also they can look at the new purchases, the new customers on a map and say, okay, this one belongs on this route.
I don't care how you say it. I thought it was just interesting. You said routes.
So they can totally go ahead and figure out and plan their schedules, plan their teams, plan like when we want to service them. So it's actually a side benefit we didn't really consider. We were kind of thinking from a sales enablement platform, looking at leads and sales but operations, a huge benefit to this dashboard as well. And through the system, you can add as many users that you want. So you could have on your sales manager, you can bring into an operations person. They can see all this data and then use it to their willing.
Yeah. And what I think is super cool that we've done is we're thinking about how to make it the best tool possible. So if you go to sales here, you click on sales, it's going to bring up all your sales that your bot has made. And you can actually pull up the actual record and you'll be able to see, exactly what was sold. This is our measure it technology where the client actually colors in the lawn. And you can compare the image to actually the street view image. So we've built in Google Maps. So you can literally pull up the house. You can look at the street view image. I think this sale specifically might have had some adult beverages while they were measuring, or they were just testing. We've seen when you're testing this, how many times have you think you've gone through the Lawnbot process? I'm curious of that.
Just last night, I can tell you, I usually went through it 30 times because we got 30 test emails populating.
Yeah.
It's I can't even tell you how many times. So many times. So many.
Yeah. So when we're testing, we like to have a little fun and, as you can see, write different words with our measure it technology. So we view this as the hub, right? This is the hub for our clients to view all their leads, all their sales, all their chats, percentage of service mix, how much is quoted, how much is sold. So you really get some deep insights to your business that you might not have right now or might not have time to get. But more importantly, you have one spot that your team can log into and run your business from. So I think that's super cool and super. What was the biggest challenge? I mean, with building this, would you say there's been, I mean, it was a 3 or 4 month sprint. What was the hardest obstacle, I think, that you, from a programming perspective, that you had?
Yeah, I think that it comes back down to, like, again, all the ways that lawn care or, home services can be sold. It's just a very complex challenge.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it challenge.
Problem.
We're
solving problems,
to solve, right? So it's really coming up with like the ideal way to store the data, to display it back out, how it works for one customer and not for another one. So it's really that's the biggest challenge overall. And obviously collecting the data in the most quick and efficient way possible. So we keep the user on the chatbot for as little time as possible, so we have the more availability to convert. So it's really, that was the most challenging way. And as we go forward, looking at these different graphs, like what's going to be the most useful display of information possible to show them. So for example, you look at quoted versus sold. If there's a large gap between those two, you can kind of start to ask the questions, why is that?
Right.
Are we overpricing? Are we underpricing? Like, are the terms a little bit different? Are we spreading out the cost across all months versus trying to do an application-based pricing? So you can start to look at the results of these quoted versus sold and really take that and drive that back to, okay, how are you pricing these things? How can you make it more attractive to consumers to purchase online? So it's gonna be really interesting. This is just the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like this is like V1, maybe V.5.
V.05. Right. So we had a lot of features that they're still on the roadmap, but we decided they weren't critical to launch, right? Like we had all these wish list things. One of them being the audit log, one of them being service preferences. So
yep, absolutely.
There's little things that we're still working on to make this the best solution for all of our companies to sell their services online, because before, it's kind of funny from a startup perspective. There's a lot of, move fast and break things. Hopefully not too many things you break when you're growing, but we're adding customers like crazy, and to keep it all straight for our customers, this was an essential thing. What was the other big reason of why we built the dashboard? I mean, Airtable, let's talk about Airtable a little bit. If you're the tech world, if you're a big Zapier guy and you like automating your stuff, when I initially built the first version of Lawnbot, we used Airtable as the database. Now, that's great for getting up and running quickly, but as you scale to 140 companies times, I don't know, let's say each of them gets 1,000 leads. That's a lot of activity on Lawnbot. Tell me about our Airtable database that we got rid of.
Yeah, if you actually read the terms and conditions of Airtable, which is essentially Google Sheets, if you're familiar with that, it's like a competitor to them. However, they specifically say when you sign up, this is not to be used for production. So they actually say that, like, if you really need to super rely on this data, don't use it, because as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it gets slower and slower. And we kind of started to notice some lagginess in our bots. And then sometimes the data would update immediately, and sometimes it would take like a minute, and it'd still come through. Don't worry about anybody.
Yeah.
It still came through, but it would just take a little extra time. And we're like, well, we're probably hitting that limit. So,
well, they told us we hit the limit, right? Like, as we're getting ready to launch the dashboard, I'm like, Eric, we hit the limit, baby. We're over the limit. Like, that's a great thing, right?
Yeah. Luckily that just happened this past week, right? Or a week ago.
Yeah.
And we had been talking about doing the dashboard months earlier. And that was one of the concerns. It's like, you know what? Airtable is not going to be able to support us long-term.
Yeah. So
that's when we began to work at it. So it was.
How excited are you to be off Airtable? I mean,
I can't even tell you.
Like that,
it's legit.
That was a huge thing for me. I'm like, Airtable, like, we can't, this is why Tesla, I think, builds everything in house, is they have complete control over the process. And when you rely on a third-party vendor that has a key part of your technology stack, and it's saying you're over the limit, that's a little worrisome. So I'm glad that we own every piece of our production line right now. We have a question in from Jason Scott. He said, dashboard looks clean. Is it included in the price, or is there any extra fee to access it? So that's super interesting, Jason, that you'd ask that, because we're not charging customers more money to access. We're just adding value. So I look at this as adding value for our customers. Our existing subscribers aren't paying any more to access the dashboard. But we're going to continue to roll out features for our clients. So to answer your question, no, there's not an extra fee to access the dashboard. You get this included in your Lawnbot subscription membership, so that you and your team can log in and basically have all of your digital sales pipeline in one spot. I mean, I think that's an amazing thing. So to answer your question, no, there's not an extra fee to access the Lawnbot dashboard. It's part of your Lawnbot subscription. So
yeah.
Where's this headed? I mean, right now it's obviously where all of the data is stored and where our customers access it. But where do you see this going?
Like, I think this is really the beginning of the hub of potentially all sales activities coming through Lawnbot. There's so many different things we can do. We haven't gotten to the credit card vault, but just like, when we get addresses and phone numbers and email addresses, just think what you could do if you could actually click on a phone number and call them directly from the dashboard, or click on their email address and send them an offer. Not to say that we're going to do any of these things right away, but that is the potential. Like, the potential is like every piece of data that you have in, think about how you could reach back out to that customer to entice them to do business with you.
Right.
And so it's just emails. You can think about phone numbers. We can
sales. We call it sales enablement.
Exactly.
We want to enable companies to close
exactly
more sales in a shorter amount of time with as least work possible, if there's such a thing.
Right. That's just not outreach, right? That's also looking at the data, trying to make sense of it, and then taking actions against, how you want to run your business, adding offers, subtracting offers, giving a discount. You'll be able to take all the data that we have coming into this dashboard and really make meaningful changes. But talk about going forward. Right now, Lawnbot is a white glove concierge service.
Yeah.
We have been talking much about how we bring a lot of that functionality in-house into the dashboard as well. So you could be not quite completely self-serve, but you can actually make changes to your bot, changes to your pricing based on what you see in the data.
Right.
And then you can go ahead and you can have the control over doing that as well. So again,
what would that look like? For an example, I think a good one is the launch. Were you in on the Lawn Jocks change? They had a breakout of army worms down in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh yeah, yep, I heard about it.
And she emailed me. I forwarded it to Lori. Shout out Lori, our production manager. She does a great job with making sure all of our clients are taken care of. But this company emailed about army worms, and same day we were able to add a army worm service to their Lawnbot and deploy it out across almost instantly, so that they could leverage those requests as they came in.
Mm-hmm.
So potentially move into self-serve. That's exciting. You mentioned white glove concierge. So why not just go self-serve right away? There's lots of companies that have attempted this, what we're doing, and failed completely. Some big national lawn care companies even tried to do what we're doing, and it didn't fail. It failed. It didn't get adoption, didn't get traction. Why not go self-serve off the bat? Part of it, I have an idea of why, but I want to hear your reasoning we have very different minds. So I'm a sales guy. Erik's the engineer, the builder. He thinks about he mentioned it yesterday. He's the architect of the system. Mm-hmm. So from a sales perspective, we do charge a design and build cost right now. And there's a reason for that, because it's white glove. We do all the setup, all the building. We connect it to your websites. We connect to all your lead sources. We're doing some custom coding integrations for folks. Why not go self-serve right out of the batter's box?
Well, if you look, and I'm pretty sure you've done a couple of videos on this, like how complex it is to build this from a technical standpoint. We have what's called the builder. There's 5 different sheets that you need to go through. You need to upload logos, make sure they look good. You got to test it over and over to make sure that's exactly how you want. And that takes time. And I have a feeling that our customers don't have a lot of time. They can't go at home after they work 12 hours a day, serving their clients and spend 5 hours making sure their bot looks great.
Right.
So I think that's what's going on. And, if we could make it self-serve, we could go ahead and have you sign up and sign in and have access to all these check boxes and things like that. But again, the big issue is, would it ever get done, or would it get done when you needed to have it done? So we've had people last spring just say, hey, I need my Lawnbot up. I need it up in a couple of weeks during the busy season. And we were able to take care of that and help them make sales on lines when they're just crazy slammed busy. So we're kind of an extension of our team, of your marketing team. And I think, that's my perspective. That's my techie perspective on why it's not completely 100% self-serve.
Yeah. So, but we talk about it all the time in the office. We're like, oh, self-serve would make our job so much easier. But I think we're learning a lot right now from customers that's really making the product better. I mean, when we're going through and we're helping customers onboard, for example, like right now, what's our onboard process look like? So somebody signs up with Lawnbot, they want to get going. They're all excited. They want to launch it like today, which is great. We do too. What's the onboard process look like right now?
Well, as soon as you make arrangements to be a Lawnbot client, we hand you over to Lori, who is our operations manager, and she'll send out a very straightforward document of all the information that we need. And then once that's in there, and we review that, make sure that it's complete, so we can actually create the bot for you. We get going. We start to build. We correspond with you. We ask questions. We send out sample bots, and all you really need to do is go through it and say, yeah, this looks good, or I need this tweaked, or I need to change out this image. So really, it's just, again, you provide us the information, like what programs you have, what your price tables look like. You can just even give us like a heads up, like, hey, I charge $45 for the first 1,000 square feet, and it's $12. Like, that's all you've got to tell us. So you don't have to tell us anything good. And you can just say, hey, all my images are on my website. Okay, we got it.
Awesome.
So we're there to help you and then to move as fast as possible.
So people that are watching this right now, if they're still watching, we're 27 minutes in. If they're listening, we're going to be releasing a podcast to Apple and throughout all the podcast. We're going to basically convert this to audio so that people can consume it however they want to. People are still watching. They're consuming this content. What's on our roadmap? I mean, what are we working on right now? I don't want to disclose too much because I don't want to, let's say I don't want to open the kimono, as they say, too soon, but what can people be excited about? What can people look forward to?
Yeah, I think we're going to continue to do integrations with other CRMs. Like right now we're with Real Green, but really pushing out to the generic CRMs like HubSpot, those kind of things. The integrations are really going to start to come forth.
But that doesn't mean we're building 200 integrations, right? You mentioned to me that we're going to take a webhook approach, you called it?
Yep.
What does that mean for the common listener? I mean, that doesn't know what a webhook is.
So what a webhook is essentially, it means that when a record goes into Lawnbot, the customer can say, hey, please forward this data on to somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So Zapier, if you guys are Zapier fans, that's exactly what Zapier does. As soon as the record hits, we'll notify Zapier, and then Zapier has all these integrations pre-made. You can push stuff into a Google Doc. You can send it into HubSpot. So we are creating this webhook infrastructure to help accelerate integrations so they can go forth and get the data and use it however they see fit. Obviously not the super sensitive data like credit card information or anything like that, but the basic data. So for example, if you wanted to have a text message shot to your entire staff every time there's a sale, the sale data would come into Lawnbot, and we would say, okay, what do we need to do with that? And it says, you might tell us, hey, text it to me through this service. And that will be available to use Lawnbot data however you want to.
That's interesting, because what we've realized is many companies have different ways of selling things, but they also want different things to happen after the sale, after the quote. So building a flexible solution, I think, is at the core of what we do. I mean, it needs to. That's why I like to think about us as a platform, because we're not only just a chatbot, we're not only just a sales enablement tool. Like now, with especially this dashboard, it's going to open up some interesting opportunities to not only make the one-shot sales, like, either they buy right now, or what happens after they don't buy. I think that we've talked about that quite a bit from an I need to think about it perspective during the chat session. Is we can make different things happen after they say I need to think about it, and that's where the opportunity is to help our clients win more deals without hopefully talking to them, right? I mean, that's kind of the goal with this, is to save on workers' comp and payroll and commissions and, paying Sally to type in a computer. Like, it's 2020. Sally should not, if you're paying an employee to type leads into a damn computer, that's an issue. Maybe not immediately, but it feels like not a good use of cash to pay Sally to type in lead data into a computer. And that's one of the benefits I think people get with the integration, is they're not paying somebody to type in data into the computer. I was a lawn care owner. I owned a lawn care franchise. Can't say which one. You can look it up if you'd want to online and you find out, but I was a franchisee, and blew my mind. I mean, we generated thousands of leads, and my sales guys weren't entering the data properly into the CRM. I'd go up to them and I'd ask them, hey, did you enter this into the computer? And they're like, oh, I'll get to it later. They're great on the phone, horrible at data entry. And if you're an owner, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because our automated follow-up systems are only as good as the data going in, right? Shit data in equals shit data out. You're not going to make sales if that data didn't get entered properly, that quote didn't get posted to the account properly. So I know this firsthand because I had constant sales reps. I'd ask them, hey, did this person get entered into the computer? Because we had automation set up. If somebody was given an estimate in our system, we had a drip campaign go out, and they would get an email every 2 days until they signed up with a link back to that where they could sign up online. But there would be, we would generate maybe 50 to 80 leads a day, especially in that spring power window. And we all know in this industry, especially if you're in the North, we go from like 0 to 1,000 real quick in this industry. So we need to make sure that we're setting up duplicatable processes and systems to automate our sales process as much as possible. And I think that what's on our roadmap is going to be able to do that. So as I'm looking at the board here, things we're working on right now. This isn't just, dashboard specific, but I think, it'd be interesting for folks to learn where our head's at right now. Is we're actively working on the Real Green payment processing integration, which is a great new feature we're going to add for our clients. And it's going to solidify the partnership that we have with them to where the payment information is automatically tokenized and saved to their account. Pretty damn cool, right? Imagine not having to call them back and take their card over the phone. Lawnbot's doing that for you. So we're your cheapest employee you can ever hire when you think about it like that. Subscriptions, we're working really hard on adding true subscriptions. We learned a lot of our folks in the pest space, they want to charge maybe $150 for the first month's payment. But if they have 5,000 square feet, then it's $60 a month. And it's not really tied to number of applications like it is in lawn. So we're working through that. Let's see here. Measure it. Tell me about Measure It. So into the dashboard, we've built in this nice little feature for you called Measure It. You can go and click on this anytime. And we basically built this as a diagnostic tool because, as you notice, the customers measure the lawn themselves. So you might ask, well, how does somebody get a quote, right? How do they know the lawn size? Well, during the Lawnbot experience, that customer is actually coloring in their lawn. Now, again, this is the example where I mentioned somebody was drinking an adult beverage while they were measuring, but you can kind of understand the workflow here. Customer measures their lawn, they can get a quote for services and sign up and pay all within a 2-minute, 3-minute chat experience. We've also built in the ability for your team or you or whoever to go in and measure any address in the world. So from your Lawnbot dashboard, you'll have the ability to type in Hong Kong if you'd like to, and go measure something in Hong Kong. All right. Like, so this roof in Hong Kong, zoom in, lock the map, and start measuring. And now I'm measuring stuff in Hong Kong, right? Pretty damn cool. Don't know what you'd use it for. But I mean, our companies are coming up with new ways to use this all the time. Tell me about one of the most interesting ones that I can think of that you're currently working on is our new customer in Canada that's selling snowplow services.
Right.
How did we repurpose Measure It so that he could sell the snowplow services?
Well, I mean, really, it's kind of the same application, just like you got to go ahead and you got to find the address. You got to go ahead, you got to zoom in, you got to find where they need snow removed, and you got to color it in. So that particular customer has a price table that says, okay, for every 10 square feet, it's this much, to charge. So it's almost 100% like exactly the same. That's how we built Measure It, really, is that we wouldn't have to tweak it all the time. Right. It's there to help to either do linear foot or square footage when it comes to estimating lawn size. So, it is extremely accurate.
And why didn't we do points and lines? Because there's a lot of measuring tools out there that has the ugly points and lines. And if you're in the industry, put your hand up and say you feel me, Kenny, because when you're on a damn phone or a tablet, that shit doesn't work. And that's why we built Measure It.
Yeah, definitely. Like, a lot of our traffic is through mobile devices. So a lot of the point and lines solutions out there will have you actually using 2 fingers to point and scrunch and then try to hold the lines. And like, you can't do that in mobile. And even on desktop, it sucks, right? So not everybody's a spatial engineer. Not everybody knows how to do point and lines and how to exclude things. So, if you're doing a home and you want the front and back of your lawn done, to try to figure out how to do that around your house without including the house is stupid difficult. But what's nice is, like I like to say, not everybody's a spatial engineer, but everybody has used MS Paint. Everybody's used some cheap.
For our younger listeners, can you describe what MS Paint is? Because
MS Paint is,
I know what you mean,
the cheapest, easiest painting program ever, which essentially you got a brush and a color you can pick from, and you go ahead and you just click the mouse button and you color, and that's all you do. And even Measure's easier because you can't pick your color. It's green. Right. So it's just crazy easy. Everybody understands it from the get-go. And we've had a lot of success. Like, when we get our sales emails coming through, we actually monitor our own sales of our clients, and people are using it, 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10 correctly. And that's huge, because then you don't have to deal with all the aftermath of incorrect estimation. Yeah. So it's really been a game changer for us and everybody else to help estimate lawn size.
Right. For homeowners to measure their own lawn.
Absolutely.
So we're actually flipping that value exchange. If you're still going out to lawns and measuring it by hand in 2020, I think you really need to take a close look at your fuel cost. What's that time? I mean, we talk about it all the time. Time is your most valuable resource. So if you're taking an hour to drive there with traffic, by the way, and an hour back, or you got to wait till Wednesday or whatever, like, speed to the lead is the holy grail in sales. What would you say to a company that looks at this Measure It tool and says, okay, well, what about new constructions, or what about trees in the lawn? Like this lawn that we're showing here. Obviously, lots of tree cover on the property. Mm-hmm. What are we finding from a holistic perspective?
Well, I mean, once again, the homeowners are filling in this Measure It tool. So it's a consumer facing, customer facing tool. They know where the property lines are. Maybe not to the pixel in this, but they know that there's a pool hidden behind that tree cover.
Right.
So right now it's not an issue. People know that, hey, there's a sidewalk here, or if there's dirt under this tree, and not lawn. They're actually filling out actually correctly. But we are looking, that's also on our roadmap, is to use a service. So right now we're using Google.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. There's some exciting stuff in Measure It 2.0.
Yeah.
Let's dig into that a little bit.
Absolutely. So right now there are other services that will take photographs, aerial photographs like the one you're seeing on the screen. They'll take them throughout different time periods. So they'll take them in the wintertime, they'll take them in spring, the fall, the summer, and a lot of those image, especially in Michigan, if you have a tree that loses its leaves, it will just show up. Well, you have the ability to say, hey, I can't see my lawn. Would you like to have another photo? And we'll go ahead and grab that photo and try to find one that is more clear, that you can actually see those features. So that's going to be huge. That will also extend into the dashboard. So perhaps a customer fills in, let's say this one that Kendall's doing right now, and maybe our clients won't know exactly what's going on. We'll have the ability to flip that image and show what the fall version of that looks like.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's a lot of great opportunities to make it better. Measure It 2.0, you can see that we're locking in the screen at one point in time. We're gonna attempt to try to make that fluid. So right now, if Kendall wanted to color in something that's off screen, he would have to unlock it. He would lose his changes. We're looking at going ahead and be able to just pan that screen and not lose any of your colored in images. So there's a lot of exciting stuff. We're going to make the tool much more flexible. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to even use it. Look at you. You're just playing around with what I'm talking.
Yeah.
Just for fun, because it's so easy and so addictive to just color in lawns all day.
Yeah. So if you're looking for something to do on a Saturday, give us a call and we'll have you just play with Measure It a little bit and be an early tester. Well, Erik, you have anything else that you want to cover? I mean, on this dashboard, I think we've touched on everything. We talked about the service breakdown, the ability for companies to see their service mix, like what they've quoted, what they've sold, how many chats, how many leads, how many sales, how much revenue did we actually close for you? Most importantly, we call it the feed of all of your leads and sales. You go to one spot and the most recent one always pops up at the top, whether it's a lead or a sale. So this person, think about the workflow. They just hit your website. They land on your we call it the store, or like a checkout, and they get a quote. They color in their lawn. They get a proposal. And we're quoting them here in real time. As they're getting quoted, your dashboard's populating, which is pretty cool. I mean, all of this automation is done for you, and it's all in one spot for you and your team to log into. So, I mean, did we miss anything? I think we covered.
Do you want to cover the vault or no?
Well,
do that another time.
So we can just touch on that before we sign off here. So with the new Lawnbot Dashboard, and our Lawnbot service, we're going to offer 3 payment options. So when we initially launched, and I'm going to give you the backstory here for anybody that cares. When we launched, we used Stripe for payment processing. Stripe is the largest online retailer for processing payments in the United States, probably all over the world. Don't really know. But we had a problem. And the problem was that somebody would make a sale on Lawnbot, an auto pay sale, or a pay-as-you-go, we call it. Meaning they're not prepaying for the year, but they want to pay after the service is performed. Well, Stripe is limited in the fact that we had to charge the card for the first visit, and then the company would have to call that customer back to get another card over the phone. Obviously, if you've ever bought anything online, that's a super clunky workflow, and it just doesn't work because most CRM systems, whether you use Service Autopilot, Real Green, PestPack, Pest Routes, any of these guys, Jobber, whatever, the way their system works is an invoice is printed. The worker goes and does the invoice. They mark the invoice done in their system on their tablet or whatever. And then once it's marked done, the CRM system automatically charges the card on file. That's how autopay works for all these companies. Well, we looked at it hard and long, and we decided, so going into end of 2020, end of 2021, we're going to offer 3 payment options. So one of them being Stripe. The second is our new Lawnbot Payment Vault, which essentially tokenizes the card info and allows the companies to securely log into their Lawnbot dashboard. And we use a third-party company called PCI Proxy that actually tokenizes the info. That info never hits our servers, so it all lives on their servers, and they maintain the PCI compliance. That's how we pull this magic off. And the companies, when they're ready to set up autopay, they can log in and reveal the card information to set up autopay or prepay within any CRM system they want to use, which is an awesome feature that we're adding. And the third payment option we're integrating as we speak is called Real Green Payment Processing. So if you're utilizing our Real Green connection, you'll be able to, set up autopay, do prepay, all automatically through Lawnbot utilizing Real Green Payment Processing. But tell me about the vault. I mean, that was a big hurdle that we've had to build, and it came together quicker than I thought it would.
Yeah. We'd really kind of like, I don't know what else I can tell you. You kind of went through the whole thing, right? That was just a big pain point that everybody was talking about, is the Stripe, like having to get the card once through Lawnbot,
right,
and then going back and get the card again was a lot of people, like even some people who were trying to pitch to, were like, oh, that doesn't work.
Huge objection we get.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me. It doesn't work, So we were like, okay, what's available out there? And we researched and we had many different meetings with all these folks. We settled on the company PCI Proxy, and they were just great to work with. And again, we don't house that information. It's all on their server, so we are PCI compliant. When you log into the dashboard, you are PCI compliant. Like there's no, you're not setting up yourself for any liability, and you can gather that information and transport. And again, to maintain that PCI compliance, we need to only offer that information for so long. So it's like once you make the sale, set up your own system,
right?
It becomes secure again.
So
you can't go back eventually. But
like 10 years from now, go back and
like
literally after you reveal it once, it goes away 30 minutes later. So that's part of the PCI.
I think that's what's cool about what we're doing. We have our ears super close to the ground. We talk to our customers every single day, and we're constantly hearing these objections, and we're actually taking action. We're actually moving towards them constantly. And what you see when you get into the dashboard for all of our current clients or our beta testers, you'll see a cool little help icon in the bottom.
Yeah.
Which we are willing and would love to hear feedback. If you encounter any kind of problems, just dump it right in there, and we'll be working. We'll take your feedback. We'll be working to make the dashboard that much better.
Yeah. So I think support with any software product is essential. I know that we rely on our support from the vendors we use, and we said, well, we need one spot and an easy spot for our customers to request support. We also need to start building a help desk and a knowledge base about our product as it continues to evolve and advance. And that's what we have here. So it literally, from your dashboard, your Lawnbot dashboard, you get a direct line of communication with our team. Hey, I noticed this sucks. Have you guys thought about, I've gotten feedback from homeowners that they can't do this or do what they want, or lock them out, or whatever it is. You have one spot where you can request support, and you're directly connected. In this case, Lori's online, so she'll get the support request, and you'll be able to instantly chat with members of our team: Erik, Kendall, Lori, Steve Page. We're actually bringing on another programmer as we speak. We've got an intern working for us soon called his name's Dennis. So we're building the team here. We're building the product, and we're really trying to make the best product possible for all of our customers. We have a comment in. What up, Kendall? James, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope your fall's going well. Lawn care owner doing great things out there. So you can see Lori just read the message, and maybe she'll chat me back here. In the meantime, let's check out the help desk. So whenever you need questions answered, you can always start here. So if you have a question about payments, you type in payments. And what it does is it scrubs through all of the documents we've ever built. And here's a great article on payment processing, detailing the 3 different types of payments that you can accept through Lawnbot. So that's pretty cool there. So we'll have this help desk that you can go to at any time and get your questions answered. You see all of our different categories here. We have ReviewBot, Dashboard, Payments, Lawnbot Live episodes, and then also how do we connect it to your website. So super exciting things happening on our end. I know Lori said, do you have a question? Lori, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Cool part about this is if you get stuck somewhere, if you have a direct question, we can actually tap in and help you in real time. Super cool technology. Well, Erik, I think that about wraps it up. I mean, we dropped some bombs in this episode. We covered a lot of ground, I think. Smiley face. All right. Lunchtime. I think we covered a lot of ground. It provided a lot of value for people that are considering Lawnbot or they currently use Lawnbot. Do you have anything else before we close it down?
I don't think so. I mean, we were talking for almost an hour here, but it seems like 20 minutes.
It's a lot to just ingest and take in.
Yeah.
I mean, we've worked really hard. I mean, 4 or 5 months of work here. It's a lot of work. So, I mean, Erik, I appreciate you coming on the show today. We're gonna have to do one of these like every week. I think our product is moving so quickly. The business is growing so quickly that we'll probably need to do one of these recaps every week just to keep up with maybe we'll do our own show. Erik will have his own show. Maybe on Thursdays, he'll come on and let you know the progress we made in the last week, feedback we've listened to. I think that's really important, is that feedback loop that we get from our customers to what do we build next? Where are we going? So,
Absolutely.
Erik, thanks for coming on the show today. I know that I always have a blast chopping it up with you. You have a lot of experience in the startup world that we get to leverage. I mean, you've worked at some of the biggest startups here in Grand Rapids.
Yep.
So I value your opinion and obviously all the work that you do for the company. But I talk about it sometimes. It's like, well, why hasn't this been built yet? Well, engineers aren't focused on this problem. They're going to build the next social application or TikTok or whatever the hell it is. Like the great engineers are all trying to do that. But huge opportunity we have in the service industry to really bring their businesses online. Elon's going to Mars. He's building hyperloops. Yeah, I can't order pest control through your website. How the heck, PG, we keep the show PG. How the heck does that make sense? Like, we're in 2020. I can literally get food delivered and not move. I can literally sit in that chair over there and not move all day long and get food delivered to me, get whatever delivered to me whenever I want it. But I can't order lawn care online. I can't order home services online. I have to deal with a human on the phone. It's ridiculous. And we're building solutions to make that the easiest buying experience for home services. So thank you. I appreciate you joining us and joining the company. So I'm excited for our next 12 months. If you want to follow Erik, he's got quite the following now with our Lawnbot clients. Where do people follow you at?
Oh, well, I'm Erik.Alburg. Well, actually, I got to think about that. I haven't used my Twitter in a long time.
Yeah.
Erik_Alburg.
On Facebook, Erik Alburg.
Erik Alburg.
Check him out.
Put it out there.
Check out Erik Alburg on all your social channels, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. So appreciate you coming on the show today. And next week, we have Justin. I actually made an error on last week's show. Next week, we have Justin Wilson with the Utah Lawn Police. So we're super excited to have Justin on board. He's coming on the show. He's a great Lawnbot client out in Utah. So we have lots to look forward to there. If you're interested in coming on the show, we're always looking for great guests that can come on board, drop some knowledge, share your story with the world of like, hey, how did you get into the green industry? What interesting things are you doing to grow your business in this new world and new economy? Reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you and tell your story to the world. So with that, Erik, thanks for coming on the show today. Tune in next week. We got Justin Wilson with the Lawn Police. We'll see you.